in them, vitamins, actually do a very, very good job. And like my dad, was it my mom, used to say, show me the size of your fist, that's the size of your stomach. And too often we eat way more than that. Look at Lewood thinking his fist. Yes, exactly, do it. Yeah, go on, put up your fist, that's the size of your stomach. That's all the food you need in any given meal. So that should tell you something, right? Yep. So there you go. Good advice coming from nutritionist Colette Roberts there. That number again, 076 668 1620 if you want to give her a ring. Alternatively, you can email her on colette.roberts at gmail.com. How? What happened to Ntokozo? I was like ready to go there, but it's fine. It's okay. Oh, are we going there? No? Yes, we are? Okay, great. Looks like we are. We are going to play some Ntokozo Mbambo for you. I love the Lord. I love this version of her song. Beautiful, beautiful version. Originally done by Whitney Houston, if you remember. Well, at least in the movie. Oh, goodness. What was the movie? I forgot the movie. I'll remember it just now. But here's Ntokozo Mbambo with I Love the Lord.
Every blessed assurance. I've got this blessed assurance, without a doubt in my mind. I know I can go to Him, no matter what I've done. He still loves me, no matter the mistakes I've made. He still accepts me. What a blessed assurance, that even when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Lord will raise up the standard against him.
Come and ask your questions. Share your concerns. Experiencing Life on 657 AM.
It is 23 minutes before the hour 2 o'clock here on Radio Pulpit 657 AM. Oh man, what a song. Lewa reminded me that film with Whitney Houston playing the lead with Denzel Washington, where the song was originally sung, was The Preacher's Wife. Really, really cool movie. And and Ntokozo Mbamba doing an SA version there with I Love the Lord. What a song. And he heard my cry. I also love the lyrics of the song, by the way, and just to remind us that if you're crying out to the Lord right now, whatever the situation, He hears your cry. He doesn't ignore our cries. He doesn't pretend like they're not there. He hears them and responds accordingly. Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is Heart to Heart with me, Bonolo Nkosi. Now, I don't know if you recall, but a couple of weeks ago, before we got into other discussions in our financial feature with financial advisor Phumelelo Ndumo, we did a whole series on debt freedom, right? Getting out of debt, because we know that the stats in our country are staggering just in terms of how many people are struggling with debt, whether they're attempting to get out of it or not. And, she sent a call out to people who would like to take on the journey, take on the challenge and deal with their debt on Facebook and other spaces. And one of the people who responded to that was a lady by the name of Rethabile. You might have heard her mention her a few times if you were listening throughout that series. And I thought it would be great to have her on the line and chat to her, because we know that a lot of people perhaps may be intimidated by the idea of it. And Sis Phumelelo on the line as well. So I will say hello to both ladies. How are you doing, Rethabile?
I am well, thanks, Bonolo, and how are you? And good day to your listeners.
Oh, thank you so much for giving us your time. I'm good, thank you. Are you well?
I am well, thank you.
Sis Phumelele, you're a regular here. How are you doing?
Yes, hi, Bonolo. Hi, and I also like to greet your listeners.
Thank you so much for giving us your time, as always. So let's start with you, Rethabile. What made you decide to go on this debt freedom journey in the first place?
I guess, when they say, when the student is ready,
yes,
the teacher will appear.
I like that.
In my case, I guess it was exactly that, because it came to a point whereby I was really tired and wanting to take control of my life.
Sure. Yeah. I like your choice of words, because that's exactly what it is. They say money makes the world go round, and if your money is out of control, it essentially, makes your whole entire life go haywire.
Exactly.
But going back to it then, how did you end up in debt?
One, lack of financial literacy. Mm-hmm. I wish it would be something that they can teach from, grade 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because when you lack financial literacy, you end up, spending even where it is unnecessary to spend.
Yes.
Yeah. I did not do a budget then. I just spent. So, when you have credit cards, it's easy just to fall back on them So
Yes.
it was actually, I'll say, spending negligency.
Sure. What has been the most difficult or challenging part of the journey for you? And I know that you were dealing with 2 credit cards. There was a home loan there,
Yeah.
and there were other financial burdens that you were dealing with. So just to deal with it, what has been the most difficult or challenging part for you?
For me, it was when I was tasked by Sispume to go and write down exactly how much I owe, how much is the what you call this, the interest rate,
Yes.
and if there were like credit insurance within those, which those are the things that we don't even pay attention to. So immediately when I saw that, it was eye-opening.
Sure. Was that hard for you? Because I remember when I was chatting to her about it, she said, even list the family members that you owe, because then you start borrowing money from here to there, Ntabise, Karabo, everybody. Was it hard to list the family members as well?
I know, not even necessarily the family members only, the matronisas as well.
Sure.
Were part of that equation. Yeah, I remember in December I had to ask my sister to pay about 2,000 for me towards my levies. So, when you look at that and, it's beginning of the year, you have to pay all these people, you end up having nothing. You end up going back to your credit cards. You end up taking all that you have on the credit cards as well.
Speaking about that, right, once you'd started the journey, the journey that you're on, have you found yourself having to deal with that temptation to keep going back to spending old habits? And if so, how are you fighting it?
Temptation is always there. That I can tell you. But what I did, I paid the 2 credit cards.
Yes.
And I closed them immediately.
Sure.
Because I knew that the temptation will be there. And the other thing that Sis Pume asked me to do was to get somebody that is going to be, I'll say, sort of your accountable person that you can account to.
Yes.
So I asked one lady at work. That's what I did. So she keeps on checking on me. We have like a meeting as well on a weekly basis,
and
whereby I will indicate to her, this is what I did, this is what I'm going to do.
Is she quite strict with you? Is she like a very motherly type of person?
No, not necessarily. She's a friend of mine, but when it comes to finances, we've been talking.
Is she firm?
So I know. Sorry?
Is she firm with you? Like if you don't do what you said you're going to do?
Because she's on another level on herself, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
But yes, she is firm.
Okay. All right. Rethabile, how would you encourage someone who is currently in debt? They're listening to you now, talking about going on this journey, and they're just too scared to deal with it.
One is you have to accept that you have a problem. It will be easier for you to reach out. 2, I think if you can buy in bulk, it becomes better because you don't buy on monthly basis. If you have kids, give them lunch boxes instead of giving them the money. I carry lunch box myself. So if you do that, because lunch at our canteen, you don't get anything less than 10 rand.
Sure.
Yeah, so if you can do that. And the Bible says, owe no man anything, but to love one another. So, Mrs. Pume, I feel that she exactly gave me that. She gave me love. Because if you look at this, how much would I pay if I were to get a financial broker or something? Maybe she knows how much, I'm not sure. And the other thing, she is teaching me how to fish instead of her giving me a fish to eat.
Oh, I like that.
So it is really an empowering journey, and I thank her so much.
Thank you so much. This has been so helpful. And I know that your journey continues.
Yes.
I know that you haven't quite arrived, but you're definitely on your way. Thank you so much for taking on the challenge. And thank you so much for keeping at it. And being willing to face that fear and deal with it. I think it's one of the best decisions you've ever made. And we look forward to our next conversation in a couple of months' time where things will be looking even better than they already are. Much appreciated.
Okay, thank you so much, Bonolo.
Thank you. That was Rethabile there. Sis Pumelele, financial advisor, how are you doing?
Hey, Bonolo, I'm good, thanks, and you?
I'm good. Sure. Listening to Rethabile and how she explains it. So I love what she said about how the Bible talks about, no man, nothing except love, and that she's chosen to take on that journey, so that's all she ever needs to give out. Perhaps take us through her journey as far as the type of debts that she was facing, so people can get the reality of, I don't want to call it insurmountable, but just how huge the debt that she was dealing with initially was before she gets to then where she's currently at.
Yes. She actually had a total of 5 debts.
Yes.
4 of them being short-term. Those were the 2 credit cards and 2 personal loans. And then she also has a home loan. And as you all know, a home loan is a long-term debt. Mm-hmm. So our focus was really to try and assist her to get rid of all the short-term debt as soon as possible, because she was not basically happy with the situation, to be paying for a home monthly, which she's currently paying 4,260, and then to be paying for 2 credit cards and 2 personal loans, 4,500. That
Sure.
was really too much for her. Now, when you own a home, all of us need to understand this. If the outstanding balance on our is less than the principal amount that we borrowed, the approved loan amount,
Mm-hmm.
then there's always room to apply with, the bank that gave you the home loan for what is referred to as a re-advance loan.
Okay.
So when I looked at the situation and the high interest rate that she was paying on the personal loans and the credit cards, I then asked to look at her home loan statement.
Okay.
And indeed, there was some 48,000 there. So I then said, go to ABSA. Let's see, hopefully they'll give you this money. And thank goodness ABSA gave her the 46,000. And that is how, in just 3 weeks or so, she has been able to pay off the 2 credit cards and also pay off one of the personal loans. She's now left with 1 personal loan, which was a big one. Mm-hmm. She was owing 75,000. That's the amount that she borrowed initially.
Sure.
And when we started in February, she was owing 69,000. So she had just made a little bit of a payment there. But from the 46,000 that ABSA gave her, she was able to put about 14,000 rands of debt, having settled the other 3 debts, and put, another 13,500. So basically, she's now only about 55,000 on the last debt. So in essence, she is now owing only 2 people. One is the personal loan with Capitec, mm-hmm. and then obviously the home loan. And she has managed to free up just over 2,000 rand by paying off the 2 credit cards and the personal loan. So she has that additional money available to her per month. I have advised her to go to Capitec and increase the monthly installment on her personal loan. And once that is done, and if she follows through with the recommendation, then she should finish off the personal loan within the next 11 to 12 months. So my assessment is by January, February 2021, she will only have her home loan to deal with, and she will have freed up over 4,500 per month. To have free cash available per month, you feel much better. And then you can go and buy the things that you need and the things that you want, instead of being tied up to credit cards and personal loans. So, in a nutshell, that is what has happened with Rethabile.
Wow, sure. It sounds like quite an interesting journey. I think that for a lot of people, they don't understand the amount of interest that we've spoken about personal loans interest quite often on this program. I'm sure a lot of people are aware of that. But what about credit card debt interest? How do the banks charge or financial services in general? How much percentage do they charge on a loan that you have on a credit card?
In her particular instance, on the one credit card, she was paying 20.25%.
Sure.
Personal loans, 27.75%.
My goodness.
So, even the credit cards are expensive. And I think for me, it's not also about the interest rate only, but it is what the credit cards in particular encourage you to do. They encourage you to buy what I refer to as mindless purchasing, because you are using plastic money.
Right.
And it does not feel like you're spending money. So, for people who are struggling with self-control and self-discipline, I always say, maybe before you go shopping, you go to the ATM and withdraw the cash. And then you realize how much you are spending. But for as long as we use plastic money and we use credit cards, chances are we are going to overspend, because we don't feel the impact of using that credit card immediately and as much as we would if we were using cash. So that is why for my customers in the same situation as Rethabile, one of the first recommendations is cut those credit cards so that you stop using them while we are working with you to get out of debt.
Has she been an easy client to have as you've taken this journey with her?
I am very difficult. I'm not going to lie. I'm very strict. She has an accountability partner, but I know it's not easy for anyone to have me as their accountability partner because I am very strict.
Mm-hmm.
So, she managed. One of the things she did, which I was not very happy with, was from the 46,000, she went and bought a laptop for her child who's in grade 4. Because being strict, my question was, had I not assisted you to get this money, how would you have bought that laptop?
Sure.
Would you even have bought it? So that is the exact tech debt. And, for me, if you say you are on a journey to get out of debt, let's walk this journey and let's walk it ASAP. Let us not take detours and, shortcuts. Let's get out ASAP. So there was that, and I'm happy she confirmed that temptations will always be there.
Mm-hmm.
So she needs to be aware of the temptations because, marketers are there doing their jobs to get us to buy. We need to then do what, we need to do to make sure that we don't fall into the temptation of buying just because we have a credit card or just because we can afford to, and draw a budget and spend according to your budget, so. But aside from that, yes, she was a happy customer. One of the things that I've asked her to do, which she has not as yet done, was to say that with the 2,000 that is now available to her monthly, having paid off the 3 debts, I want her to go to Capitec and increase her monthly installments from 2,500 to 4,500.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still waiting for her to give me confirmation that has been done, so that within the next 11, 12 months, she's basically debt-free and she just has a home loan. I've not had the time to do the calculations, but I do know that once she has freed up the 4,500, even if she just takes 2,000 or 2,500 of that and increase her home loan monthly installment, she's going to end up paying that home loan very quick. So, then we'll be on a journey to now create wealth for her, because again, I want her and our listeners to understand that when we assist people to get out of debt, getting out of debt is not the end game. And as I always say, that is too low a goal to aim towards.
Sure.
You should be aiming towards having investments, having policies,
having property.
Ensuring that if anything happens to you, your children will not suffer financially. At least they'll always be taken care of. They'll be able to continue their studies. And even if nothing happens to you, it's good for you to have, investments in your name. And as a third property, if that's what you want to do, have a home for your children. We often can't afford these basic things in life because our money is tied up in a lot of debt.
Sure. As we round off the conversation, what advice would you give to someone who's been listening to this conversation and they're saying, you know what? Perhaps it's worth it. I am considering it. I've been thinking about it. And like Rethabile said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So for those who are like, I am that student, I feel like I'm ready. I definitely think that I'm ready. Where would you advise them to begin?
We have run videos, for Rethabile and for Adrian, and through Radio Pulpit, and thank you so much for the opportunity. We've had the, 7 steps to get out of debt. So for me, that is the first port of call, and also to read the book, because part of this is to empower you with knowledge, which you will take to your grave, which hopefully you will also impart to your children and your loved ones and your family members, because, we honestly perish for lack of knowledge. I don't know how long Rethabile would have survived with paying more for her 4 debts than she was paying for her home loan. It was only a matter of time before she will start defaulting. So the information is there, and we've demonstrated through Adrian and Rethabile it is possible to get out of debt.
Sure.
So I don't want a passive, person, our ensemble who's willing to read, to learn, and to grow in the process, and to also impart the same knowledge to others. So for now, if you've read the book and you've gone through Rethabile's case study and Adrian's case study, and if you really believe we could assist you, but at a cost for now, because time is money. This was to really demonstrate that you can get out of debt. I make exceptions in very unique circumstances, but we also need to make a living, unfortunately. But I'm quite happy that we have done this, and maybe one day using the resources through Radio Pulpit will assist us maybe to where we.
Oh goodness. It seems like we've lost Sis Phumelele there. But if you're listening to us and you're thinking, yeah, I'd like to take on the challenge, by all means, why not? Just to give you those details, you can give them a ring to Tuka SA on 011-568-2635 or send them an email on info@tuka-sa.co.za. She is back on the line. Apologies, Sis Phumelele, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Please.
What happened?
By all means.
Corona.
Yes, even the phone lines. Hey, anything is possible these days. Yes, please. Please, by all means, please complete your last thoughts there before we part ways.
I'm not sure where I got cut. I realized as I was speaking that you're no longer there, so I'm not so sure where I got cut.
I think you're talking about Radio Pulpit, perhaps partnering up or something along those lines to maybe get some of our listeners involved. And that was where the train. Oh, sorry about that. Yes, that was where the train of thought was.
I'm hoping that because we have done this and we've demonstrated through Rethabile and Adrian that it's possible to get out of debt. I think we also need to have a good story.
Yes.
There's so much depressing around us. Depressing things happening around us. So I will be happy one day to have more and more people like Rethabile who are now out of debt and, saving, investing their money and all of that and not stressing about debt. And maybe one day we'll be able to do this on a broader scale instead of one-on-one.
I hear you.
Yes. But in the interim, I'm quite pleased that grateful that Radio Pulpit allowed us to speak about this on radio, so hopefully people have learned a thing or two.
Yes.
And they're also applying in their own lives.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, I will share the contact details as well as the WhatsApp number for where people can find you guys, for those who may be wanting to take on the challenge or need whatever assistance. But yes, much appreciated. You're a blessing to us. May the good Lord bless you and have an awesome rest of the weekend. Yes, indeed, be safe out there. Corona is roaming some streets. So yeah, please be careful and keep those hands washed, etc., etc.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye. That was financial advisor there, Phumelelo Ndumo. By all means, get in touch with them. The website is www.tutuka-sa.co.za, or you can give them a ring on 088-568-2635. Their WhatsApp number, which is, I suppose, how most of us communicate, 064-513-1021 if you want to send them a WhatsApp. Of course, you can drop them a mail on info@tutuka-sa.co.za.